And you're going to add.
There you go. Thank you.
That's hilarious.
Good evening, everyone. We'll be starting momentarily, so we're just going to be a few minutes delayed just to let everyone know. So thank you.
Welcome, Member Klein. Members on the phone, President Tina just mentioned we're going to be a few minutes behind schedule, so hang tight.
Thanks, Ken. Thank you, Ken.
We're going to get started this evening. We're just going to do things a little bit out of order. So we'll begin. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of prayer or silent reflection. Thank you. Please be seated. Jared, please take roll.
Mr. Bekowski.
Here.
Mr. Bonarotti.
Here.
Mr. DeMarco.
Here.
Ms. Filiaggi.
Here.
Mr. Fatulis.
Here.
Mr. Grisbeck.
Here.
Ms. Hallam.
Here.
Mr. Klein.
I'll be up.
Here.
Mr. Macy.
I am here.
Ms. Nakaradi-Chapkus.
Here.
Mr. Palmieri.
Here.
Mr. Paul Messina.
Here.
Ms. Pritzio. Mr. Walton.
Here.
President Katina.
Hey.
I'm here.
Thank you. We have 15 members present.
Okay.
Which is which?
Let's read the proclamations into the record, and then we'll go back at that point in time when the rest of everyone else gets here. So 13097-24.
A proclamation recognizing Ted Puzak upon his 24 years of service to the Retirement Board of Allegheny County, sponsored by Councilmember Macy.
Councilman Macy, I believe you wanted to make a brief statement?
The statement is coming up.
Oh, the statement is coming. I'm sorry. I apologize. Then we'll go through the rest of them, and then 13098-24.
A proclamation congratulating Renton Volunteer Fire Department upon the occasion of its 75th anniversary, sponsored by Councilmember Nakaradi-Chapkus.
13099-24.
A proclamation recognizing Pogo Palooza upon the occasion of their 20th anniversary, sponsored by Councilmember Hallam.
13100-24.
A proclamation honoring Jeff Scargo for over 2 decades of service to law enforcement of South Fayette Township, sponsored by Councilmember Katina.
13101-24.
A proclamation honoring the life and legacy of Earl Father Hines and his contributions to the music industry, sponsored by Councilmember Macy.
13102-24.
A proclamation recognizing the 2024 Castle Shannon Memorial Day celebration, sponsored by Councilmember Palmieri.
13103-24.
A proclamation recognizing the 2024 Clairton Memorial Day celebration, sponsored by Councilmember Palmieri.
13104-24.
A proclamation recognizing and congratulating Brady Ellis on achieving the rank of Eagle Scout, sponsored by Councilmember Paul Messina.
13105-24.
A proclamation recognizing and congratulating Brenna Collery on achieving the rank of Eagle Scout, sponsored by Councilmember Filiaggi.
13106-24.
A proclamation recognizing and congratulating Samuel Keller on achieving the rank of Eagle Scout, sponsored by Councilmember Grisbeck.
13107-24.
A proclamation recognizing and congratulating Nicholas Gesso on achieving the rank of Eagle Scout, sponsored by Councilmember Grisbeck.
Okay, at this point in time, I believe we're still waiting on proclamation, so we'll go, there's no public comment on it.
Jordan just walked into the room, so we'll begin with going back. 13094-24.
A proclamation recognizing Eaton Park upon the momentous occasion of its 75th anniversary, sponsored by Councilmember Fatulis and all other members of council.
Everybody from East Park, come on up. You too, smiling. Come on.
What's this? Oh, is this yours? Oh, you're ahead of me.
It's okay, Nick, I got here.
She got a bigger speech than I do. Well, we're pretty excited to, maybe you should come over here, Smiley. This is a good spot for you. You know, what an honor this is this evening, and just for the record, this is the first time in the history of this council that we ever gave a cookie of proclamation. And I believe they had brought some too, thanks to Jordan over there. Better check her purse before she leaves. I think she's going to take them all. So tonight we have Mercy Censure, the president of Eaton Park Hospitality Group Restaurant Division. We also have Courtney Caprera, Director Channel Marketing Manager, Brooks Broadhurst, Vice President of Food Systems Transportation, and I believe there's a member of the ENH, is that the Eaton Park Hospitality Group? Are you here? Everybody come on up, come on. Everybody that's involved, come on, Brooks, get over here. This is your time.
That's right.
Come on down. So, my first encounter with Eaton Park, I was just 16 years old.
Long time ago.
And yeah, and it's funny about it because I never was inside the building. I was lucky enough to have a cousin that he turned 16 in the month of February, and I turned 16 in the month of April. And that summer, we discovered that there was a car hop at the Eaton Park restaurants. His father had bought him a brand new 1969 GTO convertible. You can only imagine two 16-year-old young men with that kind of car. So we discovered that Eaton Park had a car hop with all the muscle cars that would show up, and we went to the Harmerville Eaton Park. We ordered big boys and a drink, and we spent about 45 minutes there. Then we drove up to Penn Hills and ordered a big boy and a drink. At Penn Hill, spent another 45 minutes up there at least. And then we went to Monroeville. We never bought French fries or coleslaw or nothing. We just didn't want to fill up. So we did the same thing in Monroeville. This was routine, the summer of 1969. And then after we left Monroeville, we would come back to Penn Hills, drive through and check out the cars. And then we went back to Harmerville, then we went home. This was a routine for us. And that's my first experience of the big boy holding the big cheeseburger out in front of Eaton Park. I was just 16 years old in the year 1969. So that's one thing about Eaton Park that I remember the most. And the fact that you've been in business for 75 years and going strong, that says something in the restaurant business, because the restaurant business is very difficult business to stay in business. There's some key factors when you're in the restaurant business. You have to have good management. You have to have good food. And you have to have a fair price to make the people come back on a regular basis. And you also have to have a clean and updated facility to keep up with the times. And the most important part would be your staff. The people out front, your wait staff, that's what the people see. And I understand that in business like that's the upfront people, and they're probably the least of the group, but even though that, they become the most important part of a business. And for that, for 75 years and running, Eaton Park has been a place to go for people in Allegheny County. So let me read this proclamation that says some of other stuff here. It says, whereas on June 5th, 1949, Larry Hatch introduced the Steel City first come as you are, Eaton Park, eat in your car experience. That was me. A new restaurant Pittsburgher would come to know as Eaton Park. That started a single car hop in Sawmill Run Boulevard has grown into a leading hospitality group, employed nearly 10,000 team members, and whereas from that humble beginning, the eatery has grown into Eaton Park Hospitality Group that spans 14 states and has spanned for additional brands, Hello Bristow, The Porch, SmileyCookie.com, and Parkhurst Dining. Additionally, there are 56 Eaton Parks total, with 24 of those located here in Allegheny County. So 50% of their business is here in Allegheny County, their locations. And whereas car hop service declined in the 1960s, and maybe a little later because I was doing it in 69, Eaton Park swapped out curbside spot for booths and tables, pivoting to become the family restaurant standard it's known as today. The original generation of diners has gone on to make the restaurant multi-generational, growing up to bring families, children, and grandchildren. And whereas today, Eaton Park, a family-owned and operated business, is more than dining experience. It's a testament to the power of the people, passion, and innovation, keeping the restaurant family owned by the Broadhurst took over in the 1980s with Jeff Broadhurst's father, Jim Broadhurst, as CEO, according to Jeff Broadhurst. His father, who still serves on the board of directors, was committed to innovating the restaurant concept, and whereas James Broadhurst created a Smiley Cookie, this is you, which came from Warner Bakery in Titusville. Whereas the children of the elder Broadhurst would stop to get cookies every day after school, the introduction of the signature cookie in 1986 and giving it to the kids coincides with the additional in-restaurant bakery, and whereas through the decades, Eaton Park has evolved into a dine-in and take-out destination, introducing guests to iconic menu items like the Super Burger, strawberry pie. Now I remember the big boy. Ranch dressing, and of course, the Smiley Cookie. There you are, brand's legendary symbol of the mascot. Every child has received a free Smiley Cookie with their meal since they were first served in the restaurant in 1986. And whereas creating a smile is the cornerstone of Eaton Park mission, from the memorable guest experience and meaningful team members' moment to give back to the community. In 1979, Eaton Park's team members organized the first Caring for Kids, which is leading to the entirely by team members and has risen nearly $10 million for the UPMC Children's Hospital Foundation, and more than $2 million for other children's hospitals across Hospitality Group's footprint since its inception. And whereas Eaton Park has also helped families in need through the support of the United Way of the Southwestern Pennsylvania, addressing food insecurity with the support of the Greater Pittsburgh Food Bank, plus more than 30 of the food banks across the hospitality groups operating the region in celebration of the 75th anniversary of Eaton Park, will award a $75,000 grant to each organization continue their efforts to provide fresh food to the community. And whereas Eaton Park celebrates its 75th anniversary, it does so with the support of the dedicated team members. Eaton Park retention rate in the hospitality industry is unparalleled. More than 800 team members have worked the company for more than 25 years, 47 of whom still for the company today, some with 50 and more years of service. And whereas from car hops to mobile ordering, Eaton Park is not done pushing the boundaries of what a family restaurant can be. And 75 years is only the beginning. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Nick Fatulis, Allegheny County, and the members of all council hereby, I lost my place, celebrate the 75th anniversary memorial qualified hospitality to community service. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Bob Macy would like to say a few words.
Talk about Eden Park. It's either I go to McKeesport, I go to the waterfront, I go on 51, but I really, really enjoy their salad bar. On the other hand, there's a small debate out there, excuse me, as to whether the McKeesport Eden Park was number 2, maybe number 3, not 7. Well, in the heyday, it was quite the place to go in McKeesport. And what I like about Eden Park is they have faith in McKeesport and the Mon Valley, and they have refurbished and redone the store there with a new parking lot, what have you. This happened a few years ago, but I want to thank you for that.
You're welcome. Thank you for being such a regular guest.
Yeah.
Challenging us on our numbers. Thank you, Nick.
And now it's your turn to speak.
I want evidence that I'm giving Nick the cookies. There's 50 of them in here. I'm not sure if you want to take count now.
I'll be your bodyguard.
And also a small gift for each member of the council, if you wouldn't mind handing them out later. I appreciate that.
We may have to put this on our ethics report.
Oh. Did you want me to turn the mic off? Okay. Wow, thank you so much. Actually, I think you cheated off of some of my notes here, Nick.
Yeah.
And
My staff is very good.
they were very,
they're fantastic
very
when it
good.
comes to
Jordan,
information.
you're hired. So we're bringing you on to Team Smiley, absolutely. Starting with that story, if I can just talk about Eaton Park being a fabric of the community and those types of stories that we get to hear over and over again, which are so important to the innovation that has kept us growing for those 75 years. Because so much has changed in 75 years, and I know I've been a part of Eaton Park Hospitality Group for a little more than half of that time. So in my 38 years, I know what I wore 38 years ago certainly is nostalgic to me today. And so to think about, it's both humbling and energizing to think about what we're wearing in this room, what we're serving, and how we're doing business 75 years from now will again be nostalgic. And that's what we're here to do. Growing from one restaurant back in 1949 to now serving food and great guest service in 14 states between all of our brands, the restaurant division and the contract dining division, but staying true to our roots here in Pittsburgh. And I know Nick mentioned more than half of our units being in Allegheny County, but we're also headquartered in Allegheny County.
Yes.
And we're super proud to be that. And just in the other room prior to coming in here, myself and Mark Broadhurst, who is the president of the contract dining division, we were working out a way to feed all the utility workers who are in town, helping to restore power to so many people in need. Because that's what it is about being a fabric of the community, not just welcoming in. I think, Samuel, you said you had a super burger last night. I love that. Thank you. And so not just for those paying guests, but also for people in need who come into our restaurants. And so before I close, because you covered so much of our history so well, I'm so proud. That's Jordan again. I also want to congratulate everyone else for receiving a proclamation today. I was listening to them being read. A little round of applause before we leave. Some truly great accomplishments. I won't point him out, but I can tell there's someone in the room. He told me on the elevator that he was born 1 month before we were. And so that's why he's a big fan of Eaton Park Hospitality Group. And just, again, another story that goes to show that we truly want to be a fabric of the community. We want to take care of our guests, our team members, and certainly those communities in which we serve. So I want to thank the council for the recognition of the proclamation, and just congratulations to everyone else. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Perfect.
We'll make sure you get a copy.
Brooks? Brooks, do you want to say something? No.
I asked him, he's like, no. He's the quiet one in the group. Maybe.
Come on up for a picture, yep.
We're gonna put the cookie in the middle, I think.
What? Smile.
Here, Smiley. Who wants to hold the proclamation?
Oh, I love it. This is great. Thank you so much.
I'll shift this way like a foot.
Sure. It's good, I don't want to fall.
You're good.
Hope you don't have this one.
All right.
automatic.
Okay, everybody, ready? 1, 2, 3. Make it multiple times. Ready? 1, 2. Got it.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you so
You kept me
much.
from starting with that plenty of time.
Oh, that's fantastic. Right here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Congrats.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
You look very summary there. Very summary.
I saw you. Thank you so much. Did you like the 4? Did you try the 4?
We're going to do 13097-24 next.
That's a proclamation recognizing Ted Kuzak
more than
upon his
welcome.
24 years of service to the Retirement Board of Allegheny County, sponsored by Councilmember Macy.
Okay. As I've always said before, when businesses, corporations, and individuals attain certain goals, we like to recognize them. And the county council does it all the time. It's out of respect and out of their due diligence and out of their ability to stay focused and do the job. We're honoring Ted Puzak tonight, and unfortunately, Mr. Puzak is hospitalized right now, and I couldn't think of anybody better than one of his coworkers, which Walter Szymanski used to work in the council office. He was our budget director, and he went on to bigger and better things, I guess. So without any further ado, Walter Szymanski.
Thank you, Councilman Macy and Council. I'll read the proc for Ted. He would really appreciate this. So, whereas established by the county commissioners in 1915, the Retirement Board of Allegheny County administers the provisions of the retirement statutes under state law, second-class county code, invests retirement funds, and looks for a way to benefit fund members. And whereas Mr. Ted Puzak has served for 6 terms on the Retirement Board as the longest-serving elected member and currently serves as the board's vice president. Over his 24 years, Mr. Puzak has always maintained a position of doing what's best for both the active and retired members of the plan. And whereas Mr. Puzak is a veteran of the United States Marine Corps from 1963 to 1967, completing 1 tour in Vietnam with India Co. 3rd Battalion, Mr. Puzak was an integral part in lobbying the General Assembly in Harrisburg on behalf of county veterans to institute policies that made military service credit more cost-effective. Mr. Puzak retired from Allegheny County as a probation officer in March of 2001 after 29 years of service. Since retirement, he has maintained membership in the Allegheny County Retirees Association and also served as vice president for 2 years. Whereas, in addition to his work in Allegheny County, Mr. Puzak has served as an associate professor for 6 years at the University of Pittsburgh in the Health and Physical Activity Department. Mr. Puzak received a Bachelor of Science from the University of Pittsburgh and then went on to earn a Master's of Education from Duquesne University in 1978. And whereas Mr. Puzak is actively involved with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, which has raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for research and patients, Mr. Puzak is married, has 4 children and 5 grandchildren, and he's a proud parish member of St. Elizabeth Church. I can turn this part over to you if you want.
Thank you, buddy.
You're welcome.
Now therefore be it resolved that I, Allegheny County Councilman Bob Macy, do hereby recognize Mr. Ted Puzak upon his 24 years of service to the Retirement Board of Allegheny County. Congratulations, Mr. Puzak, wherever you are, and maybe you could see this on video at some point. Unfortunately, he's not here, so I don't think we'll be taking any pictures. But I want to thank Walter, and I want to thank Council, because I know Council certainly is supporting this as well. thank you.
Are we all on that tier?
No.
Anyone?
Put 'em on there.
Not being on it? Okay, add everyone, please. Thank you. 13095-24.
A proclamation commending Aneri Shethji on being named a 2024 U.S. Presidential Scholar, sponsored by Councilmember Filiaggi.
Thanks, Patrick. You're welcome. Punch cell.
How about this? Why don't you stand right here with me so everyone can see you and your family can come down. Hello. What a great day in Allegheny County. It is hard to follow Nick Fatoulis and the smiley cookie, but the two women that I have the honor of presenting proclamations to today are incredible. And normally I try to pepper my folksy comments in, but today is a day we're going to read this because the information is incredible that I think everyone should hear for both women. At this point, I have the honor of giving a proclamation recognizing Aneri Shethji on her accomplishment of achieving the 2024 United States Presidential Scholarship. This incredible event in Aneri's life is really actually, when you hear about her, is one of many incredible experiences that she has created for herself, quite frankly. This isn't luck, this is hard work. So I will go directly into the whereas. Whereas, since its inception in 1964, the United States Presidential Scholars Program, with subsequent expansions to include artistic, literary, and performing arts, has honored over 8,000 of the nation's top performing students. And this year, celebrating its 60th anniversary in 2024, the program continues to inspire hope and honor our nation's most distinguished graduating high school seniors. Aneri has graduated, right, from my alma mater, North Allegheny. I have no such accomplishments as this young lady, except I was in the National Honor Society. And she does have a teacher here today, Mr. Downs, who is also the husband of my other proclamation. So this is a small world, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Whereas North Allegheny senior Aneri Shethji recently earned the prestigious designation of being the 2024 United States Presidential Scholar, one of the nation's highest academic honors. She was selected from a pool of 3.7 million students, and only 161 seniors received this award this year. That's incredible. Her achievements illustrate the power of dedication, hard work, and commitment to making a positive impact in her community and beyond. She was accepted as a research intern at the UPMC Hillman Cancer Center, where she performed research on breast cancer immunotherapy. During her internship, her project was selected for a poster presentation at the 2023 National Biomedical Engineering Society Conference in Seattle, Washington. And Aneri not only interns with UPMC, she is also a clinical volunteer at UPMC Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh in the Allegheny campus in Wexford. She's also served as the Pennsylvania Vice President of the HOSA Future Health Professionals, an organization geared towards students pursuing careers in the healthcare field. She participated in leadership conferences where Aneri placed both nationally and internationally. With a passion for the healthcare field and writing, Aneri researched, wrote, illustrated, and published a children's book about DNA in February of 2023, and she was awarded the Heinz Endowment for Science Publication. It just goes on and on. Since 2021, Aneri initiated a science blog through the Carnegie Science Center and has been writing monthly articles since then. As an exceptional writer, she has won various writing awards, including the Maurice R. Heilman Science Essay Contest, the Ralph Munn Creative Writing Anthology publication, and Take a Shot at Changing the World, a narrative virology competition. Whereas, along with Aneri's achievements, her school involvement, how she has time for any of this, included being the president of the Anatomy Club, where she knows Mr. Downs. She's the, right? And she is an officer and vice president of North Allegheny's HOSA chapter, an event leader for academic All-American and national Octo finalists in Lincoln Douglas debate, and a distinguished member of the Interact Club and the National Honor Society. Whereas, following Aneri's high school graduation, she will be attending the prestigious New Jersey Institute of Technology on a full tuition and housing scholarship, where she will be majoring in biology on the medical humanities track. She is guaranteed acceptance into the Rutgers, New Jersey Medical School after 3 years of undergraduate education. So she's going to be starting medical school after her 3rd year of college, remaining, and she will be on a BS-MD accelerated program track. I only had the BS degree. Just kidding. Now, therefore, now, come on, you got to get that. Now, officially, therefore, be it resolved that I, Allegheny County Council Member Suzanne Filiaggi, and everyone on council do hereby commend and enthusiastically recognize Aneri Shaikhji on being named a 2024 United States Presidential Scholar. And this significant milestone is one of many in her past and many in her future, I'm sure, not only celebrates the achievements of this young individual, but also highlights the importance of education, creativity, and civic engagement among America's youth. Congratulations, Aneri. Absolutely, and Aneri has volunteered to say a couple of words, even though I've said a lot. But she has some things to say that are very worthwhile.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you to Councilwoman Filiaggi and the rest of the council on this honor. I'm beyond excited to be here and talk to everyone today and get to know this amazing place. I think I just wanted to go through some thank yous because I owe pretty much everything to the city of Pittsburgh and the people to which I have gotten to spend so much time with. And so first and foremost, I'd love to thank my family, who is right behind me, for being here today, especially my younger sister. Along with that, I'd also love to thank the North Allegheny School District. And thankfully, I think Mr. Downs can attest to this also, but being a teacher, he and so many other teachers, you can just see the passion and the commitment to our education as students. And so it's truly an honor to have graduated from this school district and to have gotten all the opportunities from all the amazing teachers and educators and what they have been able to bring to us. It is truly amazing. And I'd also love to thank the city of Pittsburgh, honestly, and Allegheny County, because so many of the experiences that I've had throughout the past 4 years, from the research that I've gotten to do with the Hillman Cancer Center to getting involved with the Carnegie Science Center and also the Saturday Light Brigade radio productions. All of this is due to the amazing city and the work and the dedication that they put into youth enrichment and just being able to offer us all of these things. And so thank you all, and I am truly honored to receive this. Thank you.
What athletic word do you suppose that were?
All right.
No idea.
You have no idea?
Hey.
I guess Indian American.
All right, everybody on me, ready? Okay, ready, 1, 2, 3. 1 more. Ready, 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Congratulations.
now have 13096-24.
That's a proclamation congratulating Lindsay Downs upon receiving the 2024 Alan C. Miller Educator of the Year Award, sponsored by Councilmember Filiaggi.
Well, thank you again, Council, for being here for this proclamation. Again, another young woman who is doing incredible things in Allegheny County and in District 2. It is my honor to present this proclamation recognizing Lindsay Downs as the Educator of the Year for the Alan C. Miller Award in News Literacy Project. I had spoken to Lindsay and told her that this is not an award that I was familiar with. It's not we know the education, we know the scholarships, we know the smiley cookies. But this particular award, I did some research on to see what it was all about, and it is incredible. It is News Literacy Project, which is, in my opinion, after reading up on it, is somewhat equivalent to financial literacy that we're all hearing about, teaching our students. Well, Miss Lindsay Downs teaches news literacy to students at Sewickley Academy. It's an incredible concept, one that we need today more than ever. We talk about news and resources and making sure that not only our students but ourselves are finding the right resources of news to read. It's important today. We want to make sure that the sources are correct. Myself, my little anecdotal information, and I had told Lindsay, was that as a lawyer, we get CLE credits, and there's a lot of classes out there that I've been taking about AI and how AI can manipulate the information that we are finding on the internet and in other news sources, and how we are navigating that as lawyers, not only in litigation, but in our own profession, not using corrupted sources to present to courts, and how that is a pitfall. But Lindsay is here to teach her students how to navigate those pitfalls, correct? And so it was just incredible. And I think you'll all read up a little bit more on this whenever you're done. So I'm going to go on to the proclamation because we also have some soapbox information from Lindsay she promised us. Whereas founded by Alan C. Miller, the News Literacy Project is a nonpartisan education nonprofit that is building a national movement to create a more news literate America. The NLP was founded to give middle and high school educators the tools to teach students how to separate fact from fiction. As Miller prepared to step down as NLP's CEO in 2022, the board of directors designated the Educator of the Year Award in his name to recognize his contributions to the field. And this year, Lindsay Downs, who is the librarian at Sewickley Academy, has been named the 2024 Alan C. Miller Educator of the Year. Whereas this award is given to a recipient in recognition of their commitment to news literacy education and contributions to quality journalism. The News Literacy Project honors an educator, journalist, and student each year. These exceptional individuals, like Ms. Downs, distinguish themselves as champions for a more news-literate nation and a resilient free press, both of which are essential to protecting our democracy. So true. And whereas Ms. Downs has been a committed educator for 15 years, a champion of cross-discipline learning, and an advocate for helping students become more savvy news consumers. She collaborates with teachers from grades 6 to 12 in multiple subject areas and works diligently with them to ensure that they locate, evaluate, and create information ethically and accurately. Her mission is to provide students with the tools to find truthful information, and as Ms. Downs feels, teaching students how to find credible sources and conduct in-depth research will prepare them for many things, including the upcoming presidential election. And whereas ultimately she'd like to see news and media literacy education become a national priority and would love to see that implemented in every state. So now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Allegheny County Council member Suzanne Filiaggi, and all of council do hereby commend and recognize Lindsay Downs for her unwavering commitment to the students of Sewickley Academy and bringing a project and a concept that is time. The time is now. And I congratulate her upon receiving this 2024 Alan C. Miller Educator of the Year Award. I put my seal on this 18th day of June 2024. Congratulations, Lindsay.
Thank you.
As promised, she's going to give us a little pep talk on news literacy.
So Councilwoman Filiaggi, you really did your research. Thank you. So some of this is going to be repeated, but I think it's worth hearing more than once. Thank you to the council for this honor. I'm also a genealogist who has studied my family history in Allegheny County, dating back to more than 2 centuries. So getting this award or this proclamation in my homeland is quite thrilling. Thank you to my family and friends for making it out here and supporting me, because I know that oftentimes I do leave the impression I'd rather be researching than socializing. It's true. I am honored, I was honored, still am honored to have received this award from the Alan C. Miller Educator of the Year Award. Media and news literacy are vital in our society now more than ever. We depend on information to make decisions in our everyday lives, such as important health choices and who to vote for, et cetera. By now, I imagine we have all heard the terms alternative facts and fake news and deepfakes and wondered about the implications of AI-generated content. And my favorite used the term both sides as if information isn't complex. There are never just 2 sides to a story. There are too many variables, contexts, and perspectives. And when we say 2 sides, it demonstrates a limited way of thinking, and we need to think more critically. Yet every day on social media, we see people stuck on their opinions or sides while ignoring empirical evidence to spare their own confirmation bias, motivated reasoning, and their egos. And I must say personally, checking my ego has been one of the greatest challenges, but also one of the most rewarding outcomes of this work. And my goal as an educator is to teach students the tools they need to interact with information as it is, not as I or anyone else thinks it should be. In my profession, I've worked hard to establish a culture of information literacy that teaches students the vital skills that will develop them into ethical and responsible users of information. This entails asking questions, locating relevant and credible sources, evaluating these sources, organizing the information, and creating their own credible information where they cite their sources. I know this all sounds very scholarly, and it is, but in today's information landscape, we all need to be savvy consumers of information. We need to be developing citizens capable of independent learning who can vet sources, correlate and combine information, and critically think about what it all means. These skills are invaluable and applicable to every area of our lives, not just the classroom. Information is only getting more complex, and it is up to us to keep ourselves informed and to teach the future generations how to interact with it appropriately. According to the organization Media Literacy Now, as of May 2024, roughly 21 states in the U.S. have made progress requiring media literacy education in some way in the K-12 setting. Pennsylvania is not yet one of them. So I want to thank the County Council for being forward-thinking enough to recognize this work. Thank you.
We're going to take a picture of you. Okay. Let me put this right here. We're going to get a picture so you can hold that. Okay.
All right. Okay, everybody on me. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Let me get one more. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Got it.
Appointments. All the appointments being presented tonight are referred to the Committee on Appointment Review. I'd like to have the clerk read them all at this time.
13081-24 is approving the appointment of Thomas Bergender to the Pittsburgh Regional Transit Board of Directors for a term effective through July 2nd, 2028, sponsored by the Chief Executive. Actually, all of these are sponsored by the Chief Executive. 13082-24, approving the appointment of Bobby Fan to the Pittsburgh Regional Transit Board of Directors for a term effective through July 2nd, 2028. 13083-24, approving the appointment of Gil Berry to the Southwest Pennsylvania Commission for a term effective through December 31st, 2028. 13084-24 is approving the appointment of Dr. Kathy Elliott to the Juvenile Detention Board of Advisors for a term effective through December 31st, 2026. 13085-24 is approving the appointment of Richard Garland to the Juvenile Detention Board of Advisors for a term effective through December 31st, 2026. 13086-24 is approving the appointment of Tiffany Sizemore to the Juvenile Detention Board of Advisors for a term effective through December 31st, 2026. 13087-24 is approving the appointment of Christy Troutman to the Juvenile Detention Board of Advisors for a term effective through December 31st, 2026. 13088-24 is approving the appointment of Michael Williams to the Juvenile Detention Board of Advisors for a term effective through December 31st, 2026. 13089-24 is approving the appointment of Lisa Freeman to the Allegheny County Conservation District for a term effective through December 31st, 2026. 13090-24 is approving the reappointment of G. Eric French to the Allegheny County Conservation District for a term effective through December 31st, 2027. 13091-24 is approving the appointment of Juan Garrett to the Allegheny County Conservation District for term effective through December 31st, 2027. 13092-24 is approving the reappointment of Anita Pritzio to the Allegheny County Conservation District for term effective through December 31st, 2024. And 13093-24 is approving the corrected term end dates for the following Allegheny County Conservation District Board members to match Pennsylvania State Conservation Commission: Jenna Kramer, effective through December 31st of 2026. Jason Singer, effective through December 31st, 2024. Phyllis Anderson, effective through December 31st, 2026. And John Scott, effective through December 31st, 2024.
Unfinished business for the Committee on Appointment Review for the second reading. All of the appointments that we're voting on tonight are for the Friends of South Park. All were reviewed at the same meeting on the Committee on Appointment Review, and all have the same expiration dates, July 6, 2027. If there are no objections, I'd like the clerk to read them all and then have Ms. Nakaradi-Chapkus make a single motion to approve them. Any objections?
Nope.
Hearing none. Go ahead, Jared.
13003-24 is the reappointment of Bernadette Finke to the Friends of South Park, sponsored by Councilmember Grisbeck. 13004-24 is the reappointment of Angela Zuzemba, sponsored by Councilmember Grisbeck. 13062-24 is the reappointment of Ed Eichenlaub, sponsored by Councilmember Palmieri. 13063-24 is the reappointment of David Bukowitz, sponsored by Councilmember Palmieri. 13064-24 is the reappointment of James Converse, sponsored by Councilmember Palmieri. 13065-24 is the reappointment of Carolyn Savickas, sponsored by Councilmember Klein. 13066-24 is the reappointment of Jason Finke, sponsored by Councilmember Walton. 13067-24 is the reappointment of Tom Woods, sponsored by Councilmember Palmieri. And 13068-24 is the appointment of Jake Riley, sponsored by Councilmember Grisbeck.
Councilmember Nakaradi-Chapkus, would you like to make that motion?
Yes, President Katina.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to liaison reports. Any liaison reports this evening? Hearing none. New business, ordinances and resolutions. 13108-24.
An ordinance amending Ordinance 37-23-OR in order to clarify the authorization granted to the Department of Public Works to take certain actions on behalf of County Council with respect to the issuance of temporary occupancy permits, highway occupancy permits, the grant of certain licenses, rights of entry and easements, and the amicable acquisition of certain real estate affecting county public works projects and other matters for calendar years 2024 and 2025, sponsored by Councilmembers DeMarco, Hallam, and Macy.
That will go to Public Works. 13109-24.
An ordinance of the County of Allegheny, Pennsylvania, authorizing the incurrence of non-electoral debt by and through the issuance of one or more series or subseries of federally taxable or tax-exempt general obligation bonds or notes, known as Series C80, or known by such other names as designated by the county, in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $198 million, and the issuance of one or more series or subseries of federally taxable or tax-exempt general obligation refunding bonds or notes, known as Series C81, or known by such other names as designated by the county, in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $247 million, sponsored by the Chief Executive.
That will go to Budget and Finance. 13110-24.
An ordinance approving the sale of a parcel of property identified as Demler Street Township of North Versailles, Pennsylvania, block and lot 460D200 for the sale price of $5,500 to Edward Dander, an adult individual at North Versailles resident, sponsored by the Chief Executive.
That will go to Economic Development and Job Creation. 13111-24.
A resolution of the County of Allegheny amending the grants and special accounts budget for 2024, submission number 04-24, sponsored by the Chief Executive.
That will go to Budget and Finance. No new business, notification of contracts, none. Public comment on general items.
We have several. First up is Lisa Curran.
Not here.
Next up would be Lynn Appman.
Not here.
Stephanie Waters.
Not here.
Felicia Williams.
Yes, she's here.
Something don't seem right here.
Good evening. I'm here to speak on the reconsideration of the decision to eliminate the Allegheny County Department of Human Services Office of Behavioral Health Education Specialist position. I'm here to speak for a coalition of disability rights advocates from across Allegheny County who work directly with families who have children with disabilities, including mental and behavioral health diagnosis, and who are protected under the Title II of the ADA, Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act, and may require special education services under the Federal Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. We are here to express our grave concern regarding the decision to cut Allegheny County Department of Human Services Office of Behavioral Health Education Specialist for the position for the 2024-25 school year. We ask that DHS reverse the decision or delay the plan for at least a year in order to complete a comprehensive analysis to understand the critical role these specialists provide and develop a plan to ensure continuity of care for the students and families currently being served. We believe justification given by DHS officials were based on incomplete analysis, flawed assumptions, and lack of data. Furthermore, and most importantly, there was no input gathered from the students and families being served in order to understand how these cuts would impact them prior to the announcement of this decision. The decision relied on incomplete analysis that resulted in the decision to cut the funding and does not take into account the distinctive role of the OBH education specialist. The OBH education specialists have expertise that provide advocacy for families whose students have unique and complex needs that require deep understanding of the mental health, behavioral health, and education systems. The review does not consider that many families need significant help to fully participate in special education and Section 504 process, especially when there are mental and behavioral health issues. The review does not consider the impact on outcomes for students who are served by OBH education specialists. When students with mental health, behavioral needs aren't properly supported in schools, those students are at high risk of more negative outcomes. The decision was based on assumptions. Valerie Williams, Director, U.S. Department of Education, Office of Special Education Programs, shared in a recent newsletter that for students with disabilities, integrating mental health services into their IEPs offers a multifaceted approach to support. We are concerned that the assumption evident in Stuart Fisk's statement that the services provided by the educational specialists were provided in other areas within the system and were duplicative. We disagree that the services provided are duplicative. The decision was based on a lack of,
If you could just wrap it up at this point, please.
well, basically what we are asking is that we are asking the county to reconsider the decision as it will harm the most vulnerable children and families who benefit from this program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is Aya Sazuni.
Hello, everyone. My name is Yas Hazuni. I live in Brookline. I'm here because 2 days ago we had Eid al-Adha, which is the second celebration of the year for the Muslims, and it commemorates the end of the pilgrimage to Mecca, and then after that, Muslims slaughter sheep in memory of Abraham slaughtering a sheep instead of his firstborn son Ishmael. So, Eid Mubarak. The second thing I'm here to talk about is I'm here to ask the council to consider proclaiming that June 8th be the day of memory for the servicemen of USS Liberty that was attacked on June 8th, 1967 by Israel. They jammed the radars of the ship. They attacked it by planes. They attacked it by Navy. They killed the lifeboats that were thrown by the servicemen. Israel killed 34 American servicemen and wounded more than 100. I'm asking for the council to make June 8th a day of memory for these servicemen, that we will not forget their sacrifice. And to drive that point, I want the council to consider not approving any IHRA definition of anti-Zionism, anti-Semitism, which includes the criticism of the country of Israel for any action they do. So if that definition of anti-Semitism is adopted anytime, this mentioning of the servicemen that were killed by Israel in 1967 will be considered anti-Semitism under the IHRA definition. So again, I repeat my request. Please consider to proclaim June 8th to be a day of memory for the USS Liberty incident in 1967. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next.
We had two individuals who signed up slightly after the deadline. The first of them is Helen Gerhardt.
Thank you. I'm Helen Gerhardt. My address is 7447 Penfield Court, Pittsburgh, 15208, and I'm speaking today on behalf of the steering committee of the Climate Action Plan and Environmental Justice Coalition from across Allegheny County. We thank Anita Pritzio, chair of the Committee on Sustainability and Green Initiatives, for the ordinance that initiated the formation of a climate action plan for Allegheny County to be developed by the County Department of Sustainability by July of 2024. We understand and support Chair Pritzio's intent to introduce an ordinance amendment to extend the deadline and to hold a committee post-agenda meeting to gather more information to support and inform the CAP process, with Sustainability Department Director Brittany Prishak to be invited to participate. We request that County Council actively support an inclusive, accessible public CAP planning process by doing the following. Urge the Department of Sustainability to hire CAP support service providers with a demonstrated track record of truly inclusive public process, prioritizing CAP environmental justice and accountability measures, actively partnering with environmental justice groups and leaders. amend the CAP ordinance to create a CAP task force and/or a community advisory and oversight board that will include substantive representation of local environmental justice leaders, advocates, and experts that represent groups that have experienced systemic discrimination and representative of communities most impacted by climate change and our county's long history of environmental racism. Invest that community task force or board with real power over the CAP public process, provider evaluation, draft planning, plan drafting, implementation, and funding to support inclusive process and environmental justice through all stages of the CAP planning process and implementation, as described in our CAP Accountability Priorities and Measures document and our inclusive process sign-on letter signed by 32 organizations so far. I'll submit these documents in written form. And then finally, partner with the Department of Sustainability, any providers that they may hire, and environmental justice organizations and coalitions to hold in-person community meetings or council hearings for CAP input that are held in fully accessible buildings on public transit lines with technology and interpreters to support ASL and language interpretation and hybrid participation options with closed captioning, are widely publicized through all private channels, media, and venues, are recorded by video and stenographers with recordings and transcripts posted at easily accessible websites and in hard copy form upon request, including any language requested. I can't believe I made it. So thank you. I'm going to pass this around.
If you could give it to the clerk, please.
Thank you.
Right. Next.
And last up is Chief Pomaj Chakmam Yajalaji.
Not here. At this point, we're going to adjourn, and we're going to reconvene downstairs for pending a discussion on pending litigation and executive session. So is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion has been made and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening.